Mbukeli siphakathi naloke isonto asikubingelele sikwamukele kule ntandokazi yenqayizivele yohlelo Ekhaya Jikelele. Uhlelo kuyilona lodwa ke lapha eNingizimu Afrika olusakaza ngolimi lwesiNguni kumabona kude. Phela thina ke nje musibuka nje umbukeli sama trend setters sishaya nje kubole. Wembukeli nasesontweni lenu ukhona yini lo muntu enisuke nimncoma phela ukuthi hi dade cha hava ucula kahle. Nithi phela niyamdlalisa nje nizama ukuba polite. Hayi unkabi yena vela afuna ukuyokhipha iCD. Hayi mbukeli igama lami nguNoxolo uMamtshali wakwamwali kanti siyabonga kakhulu ngokusuhlanganyele kanye nathi lapha ekhaya Jikelele namhlanje ekseni siyathembisa ukuthi ngeke uzoyisole ngokuthi ke uthintele yonke inokho ungene khona la ku DTT angihambi ngedwa ngihamba nomadlongothi uKholosa wakwalubisi. Kholosa Ntombi lisakuphethe kanjani isonto?
Hawu lisakuphethe kahle kakhulu, lisakuphethe kahle kakhulu. Wena liphethe kanjani?
Nami liyangizama bantu.
Kuyabonakala ni? Kuyavela. Kancane. Ikhona into ethi che. Hawu lishilo ikuli Joma ngibulise kuni nonke babukeli beEkhaya Jikelele namhlanje kungolwesithathu ke YCW ngethemba lokuba ulele wode waphinda wavuka ngaphandle kweziphithiphithi neziwiliwili zalomhlaba kodwa ke noba kungathi kanti kuye kwenzeka ntoni kobu busuku suka kubo eyona nto ingundoqo mbukeli nebalekile ngaphezi kwazo zonke ukuba umphefumlo usadibene nenyama usenali ithuba lokuba ulungise oko kuthe kwapotyakala nokuthe kwaqhwithizeka ngalensasa ke vuka nathi siyekhaya Jikelele hleze uzuze nto okanye uvento eyakuthi itshintshe obakho ubomi kwesiya kuthi siniphathele kona ke kuquka umba wenqakanqaka ke NSFAS umba wogonyo ochatshazelwe ngusekela mongameli uPaul Mashatile ukuthethwa komuntu ozakuthi angene esihlangwini okanye esihlalweni somntwana uMangosuthu Buthelezi nokunye ke okuninzi mbukeli qiniseka nje wena uthe zava uhleli usibukele timlo ke uNokanyezi Kalubisi masisichaye ziqhuma ezanamhlanje.
I've said to NSFAS, respond at the shortest possible time and every single inquiry must be responded to.
Ungqongqoshe wemfundo ephakeme uDokotela uBlade Nzimande uthi azikho ingqinamba zemali eyibhekene nesikhwama esixhasa abafundi ngemali ezikhungweni zemfundo ephakeme iNSFAS.
Usekela mongameli uPaul Mashatile uthi iAfrika inakuphinda iqhomekeke kwimithombo yangaphandle yogonyo kunye nokulungela ubhubhane. Umqeqeshi weMamelodi Sundowns uRulani Mukwena uthi kusekusasa ukuba kungagqitywa ngokuba indebe yeDStv Premiership iza kulala phi na.
Sanbonani sekuphelile mntakamama igama lami ngingusisi ubukele lona ke uhlelo Ekhaya Jikelele lapha beniphathele khona ezemidlalo nezindaba wemamgobhosi and entertainment, so please make sure that you do tune in.
Asibhekene nezingqinamba zemali isikhungo esixhasa abafundi ngemali yokufunda evela kuhulumeni iNational Student Financial Aid Scheme eyaziwa ke ngeNSFAS. Lokhu umbukeli kushiwo ungqongqoshe wemfundo ephakeme uDokotela uBlade Nzimande ekhuluma nabe Iindaba ePitoli.
Minyaka le kuhlala kukho isimbonono ngeNSFAS kukhalazelwa le naleya nto leyishiya abafundi bekimeko yokuba zizigculelo. Nangona kunjalo isebe lemfundo ephakamileyo noqeqesho lithi akukho ngxaki.
I've said to NSFAS, respond at the shortest possible time and every single inquiry must be responded to.
Umphathi uxolisile kubafundi abatyekezwe ngempazamo kwinkxaso esithi la makhwiniba enzeke emva kokusungulwa kwenkqubo yokuhluza abafundi abafunyaniswe bexhaswa ngokungafanelekanga benikezele ngeengxelo zobume bamakhaya ezinganyanyisekanga.
Initiate criminal and legal action against all those students and parents who have been defrauding NSFAS.
Ngabafundi abangaphezulu kwe-11,000 ababhenile ekuguzulweni kwabo kuluhlu lwabaxhamlile.
You need to show your face, Chair. I think it's a show your face campaign for you to be paid your allowances. So for those that have not shown their faces, please do approach NSFAS in your institution so that we know you We don't want to pay bogus students or fake students.
Gqirha Nzimande uhlabe ikhwelo kubaxhamli abangekabhaliseli okanye baguqukele kule nkqubo intsha entlawulo ukuba benze oko ngokukhawuleza.
Usekela Mongameli uPaul Mashatile uthi ilizwekazi Afrika alingakuphinda lixhomekeke kwimithombo yangaphandle yogonyo kunye nokulungela ubhubhane. uMashatile uthe ukuqhambuka kobhubhane we-COVID-19 kwenze oku kwacaca ngakumbi kunangaphambili.
Bangaphaya kwezigidi ezintandathu abantu ababhubha ngenxa yesifo se-COVID-19 kwihlabathi jikelele. Esi sifo sigqugqisayo saqhoka ihlabathi jikelele kwiminyaka emithathu yadlulayo, kwaye ke nokuxhaphaziswa kokwenziwa kwezitofu kwabonisa imingeni emininzi ehlabathini.
The goal of equitable vaccine access, especially as the globe recovers from COVID-19 pandemic, is a core outcome sought by BRICS members and other groupings in the developing world.
Ngabathunywa abangama-300 abazimase inkomfa yokuxova imiba yezitofu zogonyo. uMashatile umemelele amagosa aqeqeshelwe esi sakhono ukuba ahlale ziphucula ukulungiselela unongekehli kwezempilo.
Africa, like many regions, face significant challenges in securing sufficient vaccines, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic. In an ever-evolving world, we cannot remain reliant on external sources for vaccines and pandemic readiness.
Umbutho wezizwe ezimanyeneyo uyalixhasa iphulo lelizwekazi leAfrika lokuziphucula nokuzimela. Sele izikhemesti ezintathu kweli loMzantsi Afrika ezisele zibhinqele phezulu zifaka isandla kwimveliso zezitofu kweli.
Inkonyama yesizwe samaZulu uMisuzulu kaZwelithini ubhekene nomsebenzi wokuqoka undunankulu omusha kaZulu ngemva kokukhothama kodondolo lwaso isilo inkosi uMangosuthu Buthelezi umntwana wakwaPhinda ngene. Unomthabe wesizwe nguyena yedwa ke onelungelo kanye nje namandla okuqoka undunankulu kaZulu.
Isikhundla sokuba undunankulu kaZulu sasivele sikhona emandulo ngekhathi zelembe uShaka ngesikhathi yena eqoka uNgomane Mdletshe. Lesikhundla simqoka ekuthathweni kweinqumo ezinqala zomkhandlu kanjalo nokucebisa inkosi nokubhekela inhlalonhle yesizwe samaZulu. Umndeni wakwaButhelezi ubulokhu kulesi sikhundla njengoba uyise kaMntwana uButhelezi uMathole nomkhulu wakhe uMnyamana bake basiphatha. Ongoti kwezamasiko bathi njengoba umndeni wakwaButhelezi usugezile nesilo uMisuzulu sayobhonga emswaneni, indlu lamithi yamakhosi singamemezelo ozongena ezicathulweni zikaButhelezi.
Inqubo ila nje ukuthi ngakusasa kuqala ukuzila, kusho ukuthi usebekhululekile masebegeziwe sebekulungela ukuthi bangazila, nasi isilo sesikulungela ukuthi singaqoka.
uButhelezi ukhathule indima enkulu eholele ekutheni isilo uMisuzulu singene inyathelweni zikayise uZwelithini kaBhekuzulu ngaphandle kweinkinga zombango walesi sihlalo.
Akulula ukuthola umuntu ongathi evuka ekseni ebese ngene ezinyathelweni zakhe, kodwa ke ngokuhamba kwesikhathi kuzoncika ukuthi ubani oqokwayo, iziphi impawu nazo, isiphi isiphiwa naso.
uButhelezi belokhu ethola ukugxekwa yilaba abathi usebenzisa lesihlalo ukuzuza kwezombusazwe. Eindabeni za SABC nginguvusi Khumalo eThekwini.
Umphathisi wemisebenzi yoluntu umnumzana Sihle Zikalala uthiwe hlasu wabalekiswa kumsitho wezokwakha wesebe lezemisebenzi obanjelwe eRustenburg eMntla-Ntshona. Okukulandela kuba iqela labantu ekhonelwa kuba ngonokontraka abasekuhlaleni limbombozeleke ngobundlongondlongo kwiholo ebekubanjelwe kuyo lo msitho. Lityhola ukuba omnye wonokontraka ebelapho ubandakanyeka kufumbathiso lwamagosa aseburhulumenteni ukuze abe kanti ufumana ithenda zokwakha.
Bambonzeleke belugcwabevu ngumsindo apho bekubanjelwe khona umsitho onokontraka. Iqela elidale umbhodamo livakalise unobangela ukuba lenze oku.
We are here to call him to order and we can't divulge much as for now. We'll talk to the media after we are done with him.
Ukanti umphathiswa uSihle Zikalala bekulindeleke kuba enze intetho ephambili khange abuye.
Inhlupheko nokunqongophala kwezindlu iseyoyona mingeni ijongene nabahlali baseMpuma Koloni. Umama uNondumiso Kodwana waseGyotyi ophila nesifo sokufa icala uthi waqala ukuba sebuqwayibeni emva kokuhlaselwa sesisifo kwiminyaka emithathu edlulileyo. Uhlala ke kwindlu eligumbi linye ekwimeko emaxongo nentombi yakhe iminyaka 12 nomzukulwana neminyaka 5. Uxhomekeke kwimali yesibonelelo sabantwana.
Eli sele ilikhaya kusapho lakwaGodwana kule minyaka 4 edlulileyo. Le ndlu uyigcinisiwe nanjengoko engekabi nayo indawo yakhe. Ikwancinci, ingenawo nombane.
Xa kunethayo iyanetha gxile endlu icala lonke le ndlu kusekalanda inebhedi yodwa. Iyanetha yonke xa kunethayo.
Ndiye ndibeke ikhandlela phaa ecasini kwencwadi yam endibhalela kuyo ndiyibhale uba ndize netshomi yam apha maybe sizokwenza loo project ndivese ndibe neentloni.
Olu sapho luphila phantsi kwentlupheko. uNondumiso akakwazi nokurholela umzukulwana wakhe ngenxa yemeko akuyo.
Ngoku bendingena-stroke besiphila igranti yabantwana ababini yalo nabanye abantwana bam abadala basekhaya. Qha yaphele yabo ngoba badala ngoku bangapha kwe-18 kushiyeke lo wayedwa.
Umasipala wase-Elundini uthi lizokokhelwa elisapho xa benendawo yabo okanye inxiwa elilelabo.
U-Human Settlement akazukwazi ubanikeza uncedo abanika i-temporary structure kwindawo engeyo yabo ezawuthi ke ebuyile umnikazi wabo aphinde abakhuphe phaa. Makazame abe nendawo yakhe esegameni lakhe.
Kunzima ukuhamba kuGodwana, kusekho nezinye izinto angasakwazi ukuzenza. Bakwacela uncedo ukuze baphucule imeko yabo yokuphila. Ndingulwandile Mbulali, eYugi.
Isikhungo esiphehla ugesi kuleli izwe i-Eskom sithi ngenxa yokwehla kwengcindezi emazikweni ayo aphehla ugesi luzomiswa uhlelo lokucisha ngogesi kuze kube yihora lesine ntambama namhlanje. Lokhu kushiwo ngokhulumeli i-Eskom uDaphne Mukwena.
Wednesday, 20 September 2023, Eskom would like to announce that due to the sustained improvement in generation capacity, load shedding was suspended at midnight until 1600 today. Thereafter, stage 3 load shedding will be implemented from 1600 until 5 a.m. on Thursday, followed by stage 1 load shedding from 5 a.m. until 1600. Eskom will publish another update should any significant changes occur.
Iqembu elizohola phambili ku-DStv Premiership iMamelodi Sundowns izotholana phezulu ne-Orlando Pirates namhlanje bese kuthi ngomgqibelo itholana phezulu ne-Kaizer Chiefs emlenzeni wesibili womqhudelwano i-MTN 8 ngempela sonto.
I said to the players already that I've started watching Chiefs. I said to them this morning and I confessed to them because of how tight the schedule is. So because I feel some of the homework with Pirates, 7 games, 6-7 games now is done. Now is to move a little bit to that, but I can't shift my focus from that. I've got to go 100% with the players into the next one, and so the next one is the most important one.
We try to go to the games with the guarantee that we can compete as good as possible, and yeah, that's all. I think yesterday we didn't get the result that we were looking for, obviously, but it's only the first half of the game, and now we have to focus in the next one. It's going to be a very exciting game for us, and for sure everybody's going to be ready on Wednesday.
A traffic management plan has been devised to make sure that we efficiently manage the free flow of traffic. That's before, during, and especially after the game. We know that people will be leaving to various destinations, so it's important for us to make sure that traffic is free flowing after the game. And the major routes that will be affected on the day is, of course, the N17, that's Soweto Highway, Klipspruit Valley Road, Moorkey Street, and Marthelo Street. And then the road closures will be implemented from 4 in the afternoon.
Umzamo weManchester City wokugcina itayitile yabo ye-Champions League ayikuzuba nzima kangako kunomzamo wabo ubumde wokuphumelela ukhuphiswano oluphezulu lwamaqela ase-Europe, kokutsho ke komqeqeshi uPep Guardiola. iManchester City ke iphakamise isithsaba saso sokuqala se-Champions League ngokuphumelela ngenqaku eqandeni ibetha i-Inter Milan eIstanbul ngoJune, nto leyo ke yaphelisa iminyaka yokuphoxeka.
Every season we start the competition in the first game. Always the target is win the first one, qualify for the group stage for the last 16 and try to win the Champions League. Nothing changed for before when we didn't win it on this season that we won it last season. So nothing changed. It's no more than red start tomorrow, and it depends on our performance and our level will happen. So we have to, of course we are incredibly happy to defend this crown, but this competition don't allow you much mistakes. The success we had in group stages, because at home never miss one shot except the year against Lyon, the first game. Always we were so strong at home, make 9 points to 9. And when that happens, just winning one game away, you are qualified. So and tomorrow is the first step, and hopefully we can convince the players seriously. Always we have done it, no matter the opponent, and try to get the first 3 points.
I think first and foremost it's our job. It's our job, and we're at a massive club for a reason, because, you know, the manager believes in us and we're all great players. Now, it comes from within that you have to keep going, and the hunger is still definitely in the changing room from us lads, and I should hope him as a manager as well, that he still wants to win more. You can see what he's like on the field, you can see what he's like on the training session, and he doesn't settle for second, and we need to follow in his footsteps, because he's managed some great teams over the past number of years and that have gone on to win, you know, fantastic things. So what we've done, it's in the past now. It's a new season. You draw a line, and like the manager did a diagram, I think it was the first game of the season, is we start at the bottom of the mountain again now, and we're climbing the mountain, and each time you have to put our stick or our flag will always be at the top of the mountain. We'll always be there, because we've won the Champions League now, we've won the Premier League, but to go again and again, that's what separates, you know, good teams from great teams.
Enkosi ngokuhlala nathi nisasibukele apha ekhaya jikelele kwinkqubo ndaba yakho uDTT. Isiganeko sokubhubha kwabantu abangaphezulu kwama-20 esenzeke ngexesha kutshayisana isigadla nokudolodolo bekhwelise abasebenzi mgodini baseVenetia. Ngoku ke mbukeli isiqhagamshelana nosodolophu womasipala eMusina, umnumzana uGodfrey Mawela. Sakuthetha naye ke eseMusina kwiphondo laseLimpopo. Mbukeli ke singathanda into yokubana sixhobise uba le ngxoxo sizawuyenza ngolwimi lwesiNgesi, kuba kaloku ke usodolophu siza kuthetha naye akasiqondi ncam isiXhosa ulwimi ke esisasaza ngalo. Siza kuchaza ke ekugqibeleni ukuba undwendwe lwethu belisuthini. Good morning, Mr. Mawela. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. It is indeed a somber moment for the entire nation as we come together to mourn the lives that are lost. Mr. Mayor, we have heard that you personally went to the ground on the deadly accident. How was the situation when you got there, and what did you observe?
Morning, Vuyokazi, and morning to your
Sorry,
viewers
it's
as well.
Kolosa. That's my name. Thank you so much, Mr. Mawela.
Yes. Yeah, morning, Koloso, and morning to your viewers as well. Yeah, it's quite a sad a moment for us as Musina. On Sunday, we had a terrible accident that happened on R572 road between Musina town and Venetia mine, wherein a truck carrying steel and a bus ferrying Murray Roberts employees to Venetia mine collided on a head-on collision wherein 20 people died. It is true we visited the scene on Monday with the MEC of Transport and Community Safety in Limpopo. Yeah, I can tell you that it was terrible, highly terrible. Those people who died in that accident died a painful death, and it is indeed sad. Investigations are still underway, but the preliminary information that we have is that the driver is a foreign national who was having illegal, who was not having legal documents to be here and also to be driving on our roads. It is unfortunate that the road that the accident happened, most of drivers used it as a bypass to avoid the toll gates. Hence, you find some of illegal vehicles operating in South Africa.
You do
Thanks very
mention
much.
that, Mr. Mawela, 20 people have sadly lost their lives. There's also been a confusion about the number of those who sadly passed away. Thank you so much for that clarification. So how many people actually survived? Because we also understand that some had to be rushed in hospital and they are in a critical condition.
Yeah, thanks very much. 20 people died there, of which 18 are Murray and Roberts employees, the two being the drivers of both the truck and the bus. 4 people have survived and are being taken good care of health-wise at the health facilities in the country.
I'm just wondering, because Musina is close to our neighbor country, Zimbabwe, are there any of the survivors or those who sadly passed away from Zimbabwe or Mozambique? Because it's also closer to Musina.
We unfortunately do not have any information that relates to foreigners being identified as one of the deceased. We currently have the information that suggests that the people who died are the driver of the truck whom I have identified as the only foreigner who was operating the truck. So up to this point, it is not clear to us as to if indeed is from Zimbabwe indeed, but is a foreign national.
And many of the miners, you know, I mean, it was so sad because some of the bodies were bent beyond recognition. And at the day of the scene, it was virtually impossible to get or to identify their bodies without the use of the DNA analysis. How are you as government involved in terms of making sure that the process of identifying bodies is completed successfully? We do understand that even yesterday, families were coming through to the scene to identify the bodies of their loved ones. How is that process going through?
Yeah, the families of the deceased have already been contacted by the mine, the Venetia mine. A majority of them have been booked for accommodation locally in Musina so that today they can start a process of identifying the bodies of their deceased ones at Chirizini Hospital. So the process is underway, and ourselves, together with the support from the MEC or the Department of Transport and Community Safety in Limpopo, are doing our work to ensure that the hospital and all the health facilities are quickening the process so that we identify on time and we find closure on this terrible incident.
To find closure. Mr. Mawela, you did mention earlier that, I mean, investigation is underway, and we are talking about families here that are seeking for answers, because, I mean, this is really a devastating time for them. Any update on the investigation so far?
The investigations are also confirming that the truck was not roadworthy. The truck was not supposed to be here, but some of the outcomes of the investigations are still confidential at this stage. I'm not authorized to divulge, or I'm not an authorized person to divulge such information. But the preliminary information that we have out of the investigation are saying the truck was not roadworthy and the driver was not supposed to be driving on our roads.
I mean, this is really sad. I can only imagine the psychological and emotional trauma that these families are going through. I mean, as a government in the province, is there any kind of support that you're maybe providing to these families who sadly lost their loved ones? I mean, what sort of help are you assisting? Because, I mean, we also understand that the mine or the company of the mine is assisting some of the families with transportation. What are you doing as the government to support these families?
Thanks very much. We will be visiting the families once the identification process is concluded, because at this stage it is a bit difficult for us to be visiting families while the identification process has not been concluded. Once the identification process is concluded, we will be visiting these families. We are told that at least 2 people from Musina died. At this moment, that is the only information that we have. But we will be making sure that even the other 18 people as families are visited. We will be working closely with the mine, Venetia mine, to ensure that we give the necessary support to the affected families.
Mr. Mayor, you did mention that, I mean, the truck was found to be not roadworthy. In April this year, there was also an accident that took place where 8 people were killed in a crash near Musina. There surely is a problem, and I know that, I mean, there has been progress. I mean, over the years, looking back in 2016, there were campaigns, or there was rather a campaign that was launched there in Limpopo together with the Department of Transport. It looks like, I mean, that not enough is being done to ensure that, I mean, our people are safe in the roads. I mean, if you're going to have a driver who is driving and is found to be illegal and the road is not even worthy, I mean, what are you doing as a government to ensure that, I mean, people are safe on the roads? I mean, this is surely a wake-up call.
Yeah, it is surely a wake-up call. Like I said earlier on, we visited the scene with the MEC of Transport and Community Safety in Limpopo, wherein she committed that she will deploy more officials, law enforcement officials on the roads via that road. Actually, the Old Days Road is going to be closed where this accident happened, because it is a problematic road, this side, wherein people use it for illegal activities. The MEC has committed. But look here, the driver of this truck was coming from Vereeniging. It is a national problem. If this truck can come all the way from Vereeniging up to Musina, it tells you that our law enforcement officials throughout the country should be hands-on. It must be a wake-up call nationally, because if this truck was caught in Gauteng, where it collected these steels, it will have never arrived here in Musina. So it is a national wake-up call to all of us to ensure that our people are safe on our roads.
Yes, definitely. Our roads should definitely be regulated. I mean, we are talking about breadwinners here. I mean, with the high rate of unemployment, you can only imagine the families that are going through this situation, how far they will suffer with this unfortunate incident. Are there any plans to have a mass funeral for the victims? If so, where can we expect that to happen?
Like I said, it is pending the conclusion of the identification process. Once the identification process is concluded, all these arrangements will be done. We have a task team in place that will look into that to ensure that we bury these people in a dignified way. At this moment, we are still awaiting the conclusion of the identification process. It is then that we can kickstart the other processes, including the burial, and will then unpack as to how the funeral will take place.
Mr. Wawela, thank you so much for joining us this morning. As the show Ekhaya, we convey our sincere condolences to the families, friends and colleagues who are in this loss. Thank you so much for enlightening us on this very important discussion.
Thank you very much.
Right, Mbukeli we Ekhaya Jikelele lo besetha naye nguye kaloku usodolophu wapha kumasipala iMusina umnumzana uGodfrey Mawela nobesetha naye ke ngeqonga lezumalunga nombandela wengozi ethe yenzeka kulamandla ngempela veki bangamashumi amabini abantu abathe baphulukana enemiphefumulo yabo kulongozi ibandakanya isigadla nebhasi uye wasiqinisekisa ke umnumzana uGodfrey kwaye uyatsho Mbukeli into yokubana uphando ngalombandela lusaqhuba kula kaloku Mbukeli uyawuqonda ukhumbula into yokubana iintsapho zisafuna kaloku into yokubana zifumane ii-answers ngalento ukuthi ingaba mhlambe kwenzeke ntoni umnumzana uGodfrey ke Mbukeli uye wachaza into yokubana udrive okanye umqhubi wesigadla uye wafumanikiseka into yokubana ungumnini welizwe langaphandle kwaye ke ebedriver okanye esuka pha kwaselesefanerheni kwaye ke Mbukeli namhlanje bayaqala ke ngenkqubo yokuba bakwazi ukuba ba-identifye imizimba kuba ke ne-families zixhalabile Mbukeli kuba kaloku nangoku kuyacinga into yokubana ingaba mhlawumbe uzawuba khona na umngcwabo oselungelelweni njengoko kaloku amaxhoba emenintsi kuyatshiwo Mbukeli into yokubana nakubeni nje bekhona uzawuzanywa Mbukeli into yokubana namhlanje ku-identifywe imizimba iqhube kaloku funeral uyatsho kaloku into yokubana into bayenzayo njengorhulumente bayatsho into yokubana baye bandwendwela ii-families eziphako 18 uqinisekisa into yokubana babanikeza i-emotional support. Masithi qho Mbukeli evenkileni usabukele Ekhaya Jikelele.
Udolobha waseTshwane uhlongoza ukubambisana nezinkampani ezimele uqinisekisa ukuthi zisebenza ngendlela iphehli imandla zogesi ezimbili eSeroival nesise-Pretoria West. Lokhu ke Mbukeli kwenzelwa ukwengeza umthamo wamandla ogesi angu-1000 megawatts kule minyaka emithathu ezayo kuleli dolobha. Iphathimandla kuleli dolobha isanda kwethula uhlelo lokuqeda ngezingqinamba zamandla ogesi ngomsombuluko esikhungweni esiphehla amandla ogesi saseRooival ePitoli. Ukucubungula kabanzi ke lolu daba Mbukeli isixhumana nongoti wezamandla uThepho Khadima ngohlelo lwethu ke lwezokuxhumana iZuma. Thepho sikubingelele sikwamukele Ekhaya Jikelele sibonga kakhulu ngesikhathi sakho namhlanje kuseni.
Ngiyabonga ngiyanibingelela bonke emakhaya.
Umengameli uSiril Ramaphosa Thepho usanda kuqoqa ungqongqoshe wezogesi uHosien Sura Mkhupa ukuthi abhekane nenkinga yogesi. Phezu kwalokho kwaphinde futhi ke kwasungulwa nohlelo olubizwa nge-Energy Action Plan okuwumhlahlandlela ke ukubhekana nezingqinamba zamandla. Engabe okungagculisi kwemiphumela yazo zonke lezi zinyathelo kunika isisindo yini isinqumo somkhandlu waseTshwane ke sokuhlongoza ukunikwa igunya lokukhiqiza nokuthenga amandla ogesi?
Well, eTshwane naseKapa, eJohannesburg, yona iJoburg kodwa eThekwini. Bonke abanama ukuthiwa ama energy intensive users, lama company adinga igas kaningi kakhulu. Manje ngaleyo ndlela kwenzeka ukuthi no ma iEskom ihluleka ukuthi ibanike igas efunekayo and kuba nalento elokuthi shedding. Bathi bayazama bona ngokwabo ukuthi bazame ukwenza okunye ukuthi bathole ugesi ngalinye lohlobo. Kodwa leyo angeke yenzeke ngoba umthetho awuvavumeli. Lento bangayenzanga bemele bayenze ukuthi bakhulume kahle no uminister we-electricity yena uDr. Khosiyenzo Ramkhupa ukuthi lama plan wabo awafake kulento ebizwa ukuthi energy IRP or integrated resource plan. Ngoba le integrated resource plan yiyo yezwenza ukuthi le gas bayidingayo ifakwe kule integrated resource plan, and then iNERSA izokwazi ukuthi ibavumele no minister babavumele ukuthi bayenze lento bafuna ukuyenza. Manje kwamanje kuzoba nzima ukuthi iTshwane izokwazi ukuthola le 1000 megawatts bakhuluma ngayo ngoba uminister akakayifaki and ayikho even integrated resource plan noma yona energy action plan lento bafuna ukuyenza.
Manje ke Thepho uma ngabe ngathiwa mhlawumbe kuhamba isikhathi ungqongqoshe uyakulungisa lokho, singayibona yini abanye omasipala mhlawumbe nabo belandela ezinyathelweni zaseKapa kanjalo naseTshwane nabo bethatha umgudu noma indlela ukuthi bayikhiqizele bona ugesi?
Into yaseKapa ayisebenzi. Lento bangayitsheli ama South Africans ukuthi kwamanje baya boaster ukuthi bona bane lower stages ye load shedding. Kodwa abakhulumi ukuthi no bane lower stages of load shedding ngoba lama generator asebenzisa idiesel. iEskom yabiza ukuthi ama OCGTs, ama open cycle gas turbine. Lama open cycle gas turbine yiyo anikayo iCape Town kakhulu igas. Okunye ukuthi ugesi oselona uphandlwa eKapa usebenziswa eKapa kakhulu. Manje kusebenziswa idiesel kakhulu. Ukuthi ma iEskom seyenzile ithengisa leyo gesi for R2.18 kodwa bona iEskom baspenda over R9.30 a kilowatt hour. So now ngoba idiesel ikhuphukile baspenda over R10 a kilowatt hour ukuthi bayenze leyo gas. So into yaseKapa asimelanga sike sibheke kakhulu ngoba kusikhatshana esifishana nje sizothola ukuthi abantu baseKapa nabo bazoba nenkinga ukuthi igrid izoba under strain. Njengoba sibona manje eGermany ngoba igas ayisayikho or natural gas ebebayithola eRussia kunzimanyana ukuthi bayithole kulamalanga. Manje siyabona ukuthi bana iproblem yefana nathi ye-electricity basho ukuthi mhlawumbe nabo igrid yabo ingacollapse. So usho ukuthi lento yaseKapa simelanga sike sibheke kakhulu. Ukuthi i-city of Joburg yaseThekwini eseGqeberha naseTshwane abamelanga bathi no sibone isample enhle ngelona ngeexample enhle ngeCape Town ngoba iCape Town kwamanje icosta iEskom imali eningi ukuthi le electricity bekhona bayenza amapolitiki instead ukuthi bayenze ilona something feasible and viable.
So Thapha mangabe ngikuzwa kahle usho ukuthi ena ukuthatha lesi sinqumo sokuthi omasipala bayikhiqizele bona ugesi bazama ukuyikhiqizela bona ugesi kumba eqolo lokho kuzofaka ingcindezi futhi ke nakubathengi bogesi.
Thina isithenga igesi sizoba inkingeni kakhulu ngoba kwamanje igesi uyadura. Lo sokubonayo kwenzeka kwamanje ukuthi amabhanki yibo manje baza abantu banemisebenzi ba credit worthy baba offerishe ukuthi baba finance ukuthi bathole igesi of grade ngoba le mali bazoyikhokha every month inqanyana kunale bayikhokha kwamanje bakhokhele ugesi ngoba lesinqumo siyenziwa ama municipality ugovernment uhulumende mele ayenze sure ukuthi ayenze sure ukuthi ababavumbeli ngoba kwamanje kuzoyenza ukuthi ugesi udure kakhulu and abantu abasokolayo angeke basayithole igesi so kwamanje basingabuka sabona ukuthi kwenzakalani eCape Town makuthiwa load shedding incanyana but kula lezindawo abantu bakhona basokolayo ayikho kanjalo le gesi bahlala bane load shedding kanjalo so shothi sizoba ne electricity apartheid ma bangavumela ukuthi bayenzele abantu bayenzayo and labo banemali nabo bazokhokha kakhulu lokho kuzoyenza ukuthi babe basebayaphuma ku Eskom bangasasebenzisi iEskom electricity noma electricity yakamasipala.
Manje njengoba nje ke Thapha kunodaba lwengcinamba zamandla ogesi oluyinkinga nje ebhekene nomhlaba wonke mhlawumbe wena ungathi isiphi isisombululo salenkinga?
Lento kumele yenzeke manje ukuthi iEskom inelento sibiza ukuthi icapacity elingana about 15,000 megawatts kusho ukuthi ama power station at least of 5 kwamanje ukuthi avaliwe mele bayenze ukuthi babuyisele asebenze lama power station ngoba mabangayenza ukuthi lama power station asebenze aqhubeke ukusebenza ngamalahle kuzoyenzeka ukuthi then electricity ihlale khona la eSouth Africa singasabi nale inkinga ye load shedding and ngokunye kuzoyenzeka ukuthi no i-cost ye electricity imali esikhokha kwamanje ike yehle or ingasanyuki kakhulu njengoba kwamanje siyabona ukuthi ihlala inyuka njalo angeke sikhona ukuyikhokha mele iEskom kube yona ezwe iphandlumse ilona ugesi yenze ukuthi igesi ihlale khona ngoba ama power station banawo okunye bebele bayenze bebele bayenze ukuthi bona baseEskom kube bona abathathayo lama power station afana nase Rooivalli iseTshwane iKelvin power station eseJohannesburg iNkangani power station eseNewcastle kanjalo njalo nase yase Bloemfontein bemele wonke lama power station abe ku Eskom ngoba iEskom yiyo ene competence ukuthi ingaenza ugesi electricity isebenzise icoal mele babuyisele lama power station bawavalile manje ukuthi iSouth Africa mele ibe na at least 40,000 megawatts ya gas yehlala ikhona ukuthi iload shedding iphele masingayenza kanjalo sizoba sifana na amanye amazwe afana nabo konke ku Middle East where singakhuluma ngeSaudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain njalo Israel or noma ngase China kodwa ngase India kanjalo or eTurkey bonke bathathe isinqumo esiresponsible ukuthi bangabi nalenkinga sinayo la eSouth Africa yegesi thina si follow iexample yase Portugal, Spain nase Germany and kwamanje this summer bebanama problem and kule winter ezayo ubusika usayo bazoba nenye problem eGermany yona iPortugal nase England bazoba no problem ngoba kwamanje abakhona ukuthola igas elingene natural gas ebuya eRussia lokho kuzoyenza ukuthi i-electricity idure kakhulu manje kaloko ngithi asimelanga sifollow i-example yase Europe mele sifollow i-example yase Middle East nase China nase India.
Thepho ngaphambi kokuthi ngikudedele nje bangaze bangishaya lapha e-studio director wami ngifuna yazi ukuchazele umbukele ekhaya nje uthi qaphqaphu nje umzuzu owodwa ngokuthi yini incazelo ye total grid shutdown.
I-total grid shutdown, i-collapse kodwa ibizwa ukuthi a total grid collapse. Iyenza ukuthi ma ama-power station aloku afaila kanjalo, i-equipment failure, iletha lenkinga ukuthi wonke ama-unit avalwe, sinama-unit awu-81 la eSouth Africa, wonke usho ukuthi azowa angasaphathi igesi, kungasabi negesi kuma-wires, kuma-pylon la sewabonayo. Lokho kuzothatha 3 weeks ukuthi siyabuyisele isebenze i-electricity ibe khona. Manje inkinga esinayo la eSouth Africa ukuthi i-economy yethu isebenza nge-electricity ebuya ku-Eskom, eyenzwa i-Eskom. Ma i-Eskom ingasakhona ukuyenza i-electricity kwaba naleyo total grid collapse. Le nkinga sizoba nayo la eSouth Africa azange siyibone in the whole time, and as a country we will be set back more than 40 years economically. Ngoba iSouth Africa ina only 3 days ya petrol ne diesel yengayenza ukuthi economy iloku izama ukuqhubeka ukusebenza. After 3 days, near day 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kuzoba ne ibizwani chaos, mayhem, and unfortunately kuzoba ne violence. And enye inkinga esinayo ukuthi the criminal syndicates bazothatha lelo opportunity yokuthi batshontshe le copper wire esibonayo. So asimelanga sibe ne grid collapse. In Nigeria ingaba ne grid collapse njengoba siyibonile last week in a grid collapse ngoba i-economy yase Nigeria ayidependanga ku electricity ebuya ku Nigeria Power Corporation. Kodwa la eSouth Africa angeke sikhona ukuyenza lento efana naleyo sibe nayo ne-grid collapse. Izoba a catastrophe.
Kuzoba i-catastrophe ngempela ke njengendlela ochaza ngayo Thepho. Sibonga kakhulu ke ngesikhathi sakho sikufisele nje nosuku oluhle.
Kubonga mina.
Mbukeli besixoxisana noThepho Khadimo ongungoti wezamandla ogesi sibhunga nje ngesinyathelo sokuyikhiqizela ugesi emkhandlweni waseTshwane ube sesichazela ke futhi nangokuthi kuchaza ukuthini ukuthi kube ne-total grid collapse. Okwamanje ngemukela siqu 8 lo mangabe sibuya nje emva komzuzwana sizobe sesikuphathele ihamba phambili njengoba phela sesobe singene ehoreni lethu lesibili.